Okay, now like I was saying from part one, just a little brief review. Like I said, explain about the Crusades, about the coalition of Islam, how it's being built up, etc. Obama is talking about siding with Islam, talking about partnership with Islam. Partnership with Islam leads to car bombs in America, suicide bombers in America, because how they feel about Christianity, because this is used to be a predominantly Christian nation, and how they feel as far as whites, Native Americans about, I mean blacks and Native Americans about whites. It's the truth. A lot of people know Louis Farrakhan. You read, you listen to his sermons, you hear Reverend Wright, Jeremiah Wright. You know, same similar teachings of Louis Farrakhan. So there you have it as far as the truth about that, as far as towards whites. The black nationalists and the Moors. Very divisive people. Very. But that's their prerogative, I guess. But anywho, last but not least, I want to, of course, make sure I do it in a two-part series, because I know people don't want to hear me talk no 3 and 4 videos long. So I try to narrow it down as short as possible. But I be having so much information to share, that's how it end up lengthy. But anywho, getting right to the point. A lot of people think that the destruction of America is virtually impossible. Like this country, no. In the Bible, it's not talking about America. It's not talking about this country. Let me explain. I will show you something here. Guys, a lot of people argue, make the point. This. I know it's not just talking about this country only. It's got to be talking about other countries. What about the other countries? They too have a lot of sin and doing horrible things. Why a lot of people say particularly this country? In order to destroy the other countries around the world is for this country to fall. America being the number one consumer. Made in Taiwan, made in Italy. It's like I see so many products made in different parts of the world right here in this country. A lot of people ain't just noticed that. Look at the back. Just pick up any product that you own. Was it a stapler, a book, a spoon, whatever? You gonna see made in China, made in Indonesia, made in Malaysia, made in Kenya, made in Mexico, made in Canada, made in. You gonna see all these other countries that the products are being made and shipped over here in America and sold to so-called Americans. So they are building up their economy through us. So when their products get shipped over here and they open their businesses over here, and their businesses are booming, and plus the currency, our currency is much higher than theirs, that causes their economy to be built up in their own country. So that's why it's a global financial crisis. It's a global financial crisis because our country. I had some on mind, so I kind of hesitated on that one. But yeah, because of our country economy falls, the rest of the world economy falls. That's why it became global. It's like, oh no, America's falling. So if America is struggling and suffering, that means we too are going to struggle and suffer. Because now we have nobody to buy our products. Now we not getting as much revenue as we was getting at first because she's struggling. So our number one customer is starting to fall and collapse. That means we finna fall and collapse because we highly dependent on her to pull us through or build our economy up. So by this country collapsing and falling, it's how the rest of them fall. You see, the father is a genius. He's extremely genius. Of course, and Big Brother Yahweh, Jesus Christ. So it's gonna be a domino effect. So when people say, "What about the rest of the countries?" Destroy America, you destroy the rest of the world. Destroy America, all the other countries fall because they economy collapsing because they are not getting no revenue. They're not making no profits because their products are not being sold. Their products not being sold. These third world countries can depend on no other country than America to make a profit. So we are the number one consumer in the world. Destroy the number one consumer in the world, you destroy the rest of the country. So briefing up on this. So how people ask, there you have it. Now, the final wrap up of this is, I know when I come on here, a lot of people think it be mumbo jumbo and conspiracy theories, and ain't no way America can fall when I just explained it, and I explained it in several videos on how it's prophesied for America to fall. Several. But just to give a brief history to show you something here. This book is the book of the East. That's why you have prophecy out the Middle East. That's why Obama associating with the people over in the East and the fighting, etc., going on in the East. It's the book of the East. Eastern. Black people came from the East and was brought to the West. It was a small percentage of blacks over here on this land before it was invaded, but now a much larger percentage after being brought over here on slave ships. So came from the East, brought to the West. That's why a lot of prophecy as far as with this country and what's going over there and why it has a lot of tie-ins over there is in this book, because East, Jesus dwelled a lot in the East. This book here is the book of the West. Now, a lot of people dispute this, it get a lot of criticism about the Book of Mormon. Now Mormons, or the one guy I heard call it the Book of Morons. I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, okay, even though it's not no moron stuff in here, people read to know what it's about. This book is about the Native Americans. It actually is about ancient America before the Europeans invaded, how the Native American tribes or a portion of Israel was over here on this land, and Jesus appeared to them after he left the East. Jesus went to the West. In John 10:16, when he said, "I have other sheep but not of this fold," the other sheep Jesus was talking about was over in America. He was talking about sheep in the West. So he like, I tended to all my sheep in the East. Now it's time for me to go tend to my sheep in the West, which were the Native American tribes. So when these so-called lies that being projected that the Native Americans never knew Jesus, never knew God, actually they did. Where do you think they get their spirituality from? Why do you think they were such spiritual people? Because they learned spiritualness from a spiritual person, which was Jesus. That's where they get this spiritual nature from, when Jesus came over and taught them how to be spiritual. The Book of the West. This book here is a combination of East and West. This book here is actually the end times book, the last days book, and to complete both the two books that I just raised up, the Bible and the Book of Mormon. And it also is a scripture in here explaining why a lot of the books are divided. Now I have yet to go get a copy of the Quran, but I'm sure some truth in there, which brothers on here gathering of Christ have brought that out of the Quran. And my time is short, but one more video, folks.